What happens when our pipeline pressure increases? Our heart is a pump, just like a motor which we use to pump water. Our heart pumps blood through pipes. These pipes are our blood vessels. The blood vessels span our whole body from head to toe. Blood is the nourishing fluid which supplies our organs with oxygen and other important nutrients. If blood supply is cut or reduced to a particular organ, that organ will gradually die. So, blood pressure is mentioned here as the pipeline pressure. So, our heart pumps in a pulsatile manner. It contracts and ejects blood to blood vessels, and this phase is known as systole. And the pressure recorded during this ejection phase is known as the systolic pressure. In between the contraction, heart muscle rests, and during this phase of rest, the ejected blood already present in the blood vessels keep on exerting a pressure on the blood vessels, and this pressure is known as the diastolic blood pressure. So in our BP machine, there will be two measurements, a higher and a lower pressure. The higher pressure represents the systolic pressure and the lower pressure represents the diastolic, that is the pressure during the resting phase of heart. In a normal healthy adult, this is around 120/80 millimeter of mercury. So our pipeline pressure is normally 120/80 millimeters of mercury. What happens when we age? Our blood vessels are elastic pipes which has the ability to recoil just like stretching a rubber band. But as we age, the elasticity of blood vessel decreases. If we are not exercising and controlling our diet and eating too much of fatty food, the excess fat get deposited in the blood vessels. So what happens is, here we can see a normal blood vessel, and this is a blood vessels with a fat deposition. So this deposition will reduce the elasticity of blood vessels and also the diameter of our blood vessels. So our heart has to pump through a narrow tube. In our physics classes, we have learned the Poiseuille's equation, which determines the flow rate through pipes. In this we can see that, not going into much details, flow is directly proportional to the fourth power of the radius. So if the radius reduces by half, flow will reduce by 16 times. Just remember that point. So if the diameter of a tube reduces, the flow of that tube reduces by 16 times. So this applies to our blood vessels also. So when fat deposition occurs and blood vessel narrows, the flow reduces drastically to all parts of our body. This reduced flow activates many hormones in our body, and these hormones stimulate our pump, that is our heart to pump with more force. Thus our heart has to work more and generate more pressure to maintain blood flow to all parts of our body. This will result in an increase in our pipeline pressure. That is, our blood pressure will increase. So how stroke develops following a high BP? The blood vessels in our body, it will not get uniformly thickened as we age. Some blood vessels get thickened more, some will remain the same diameter, and some may even get thinned out. So those blood vessels which have the same diameter or those which has become thinned out will not be able to handle the increase in the line pressure, that is the blood pressure. And such thinned out blood vessels will burst and bleeding occurs. If it happens inside the brain, a stroke will result. We have seen so many people who are coming who report with complaints of bleeding from nose following a rise in BP, because in our nose there are many thin blood vessels and these are the one which burst early. So bleeding from nose is a common presentation of a high blood pressure. So we are seeing that the heart is pumping more because of the narrowing of the blood vessels. So how heart is responding to this stressful situation? So heart is our wonder organ which pumps from our birth to death. So high blood pressure is a burden on our heart as it is pumping more to maintain the blood flow to our organs. We know heart is made up of muscles. So just like youngsters go to gym and work out, their muscles will develop more. So our heart muscles also increase in size as it has to pump more vigorously. Thus, the heart muscle mass also increases. In this diagram, we can see the cut section of a normal heart and the heart of a patient with hypertension. Here we can see this is the left ventricle. Left ventricle is the main pump which pumps blood to all parts of our body. So here see, this is because of the hypertension, the heart size has increased too much. The muscle mass has increased too much. So we know the heart muscles are supplied by coronary arteries. These are the most important arteries in our body. When these coronary arteries get blocked, a part of the heart muscle will not receive blood and that part of the heart muscle will start to die, and this results in a heart attack. When heart muscle mass increases, our coronary arteries have to supply more blood to maintain adequate blood flow to this increased muscle mass. But as we have already discussed that as we age, our blood vessels will get thickened. So our coronary arteries also get thickened. So the blood flow in the coronary arteries will also get reduced. So this results in a reduced blood flow to the heart muscles. So what happens if hypertension is left uncontrolled? There will be a mismatch in blood supply to heart. That is, the required blood will not reach heart muscles and the area of the hearts receiving less blood flow will gradually start to die. This can result in a heart attack and also a heart failure. So here we can see the coronary arteries cross section which has become thickened because of the fatty deposition. So many of the medicines which we use as a treatment for hypertension work by reducing the tension on the blood vessels and they help in relaxing the blood vessels. So what happens is, this is showing a normal blood vessel, but in a diseased condition, in hypertension, there will be fat deposition inside. So when we take a medicine for antihypertensive medicine, that is medicine to reduce BP, most of the medicines act by like this. It will increase in the diameter of the blood vessel. So that results in a better flow. So as per the Poiseuille's equation which we have already discussed. So nitrates are a group of drugs which help in increasing the diameter of blood vessels. Now we will see some source of dietary nitrates which help in the reduction of blood vessels. Green leafy vegetables like spinach, lettuce and beetroot have inorganic nitrates which get converted into nitrates in the tongue, and they have BP lowering effect and also blood vessel protection effect. So drinking a glass of beetroot juice daily is a very good thing for reducing blood pressure. Also, fiber intake of approximately 11.5 gram per day reduces BP by 1.1 bar 1.3. That is 1.1 fall in systolic and 1.3 millimeter fall in diastolic blood pressure will occur. Also, fiber food reduces the incidence of initial stroke. Low fat dairy products and also olive oil is the best oil for hypertensive people because it has increased the source of monounsaturated fatty acids which reduces the diastolic blood pressure. Also, flax seeds which are chana vidda, which are rich source of omega-3 fatty acids also help in the reduction of BP. Flavonoid rich dark chocolates taking approximately 100 gram per day reduces the incidence of this heart attack by 37% and also reduces the incidence of strokes by 29%. High vegetable protein intake like soy protein, it reduces the systolic blood pressure. But if we take high animal protein intake like red meat, that actually increases the systolic blood pressure. And also taking home remedies like garlic also help in reduction of blood pressure. So making changes in our lifestyle and including more dietary nitrates, we can bring down the BP and reduce the stress on our pump so that it can work without tension for a longer time. Thank you.